So let's quickly move on to another example of how these things, the sculpting tool is used, and that is making water. Water is as simple as that. And here's an example that I did for some people in a seminar that is just showing you how you can do some kind of a platform. And if you take your tool, because these never get hot, only the wire, and you kind of get it down to a point like that, what you're doing is pulling it through. You just kind of come down and then pull it out. And then right next to that, you just keep doing this all the way, just one after the other. And what you're doing is pulling it out by keeping the peaks, the peaks between the two. So each dip creates a peak in between them. And as you carve it, that dictates the flow of the water. The water is going that way. You can have a channel coming in this way and merge and go out. So you can make water with this by doing that very simple process. And then here's what you end up with. Either way, whether it's, this is just an example of how it can finish, or this is another example of doing it this way, where the water flows this way and the water is flowing that way off of here, off of the pier. And this is how you finish it again with this is a turquoise paint, and then a dark blue on top, which melds it together, and then some white pearl drops to give the cast on top of the waves to give it a foam effect, if you will. So that's how you can make mountains. You can make your 4-inch elevations that you need in various forms. Depending on how you finish it will depend on how your village is. And you can also make water. That's why it's the most universal tool that's made by Hot Wire Foam Factory. This is just an example of, mountains. If you put 2 pieces of foam together, this is 2-inch and 2-inch, so it's 4 inches, but it's 2 2-inch pieces, and just carve it the way you want this to go. Then you just carve this together in one piece. You have rough cut mountains like this, and then you just carve it to meld it together. And then again, it's how you finish it. Brown paint. This is just white alabaster spray flex stone that when you put it on, you'd put it on facing this way, spraying it, and that way it fills up that and gives you a flowing cascade of color on down. The rest of this is a resin finish, caulk and resin, but that's a whole another seminar on how to do this stuff. Another way to finish off your elevations with the sculpting tool, which is really good, is, let's widen this back out. To do this is, you can actually auger out this whole valley. Now the freehand router does a better job because it's more rigid, but if this is all you have, you can still do this, and just takes a little longer. Just auger it out and then take the edges, and you're giving it that horizontal cut going across like we did for Halloween to get those layering effects here, and then a straight down like we did before for the other 2 areas of sculpting an elevation. And then again, it's how you finish it. In this case, not only was it brown paint, but then it was a light dusting of sand on the wet paint to sink in, and then a light dusting of green grass. And again, this is caulk combined with the resin to give a little raging water, and the caulk peaks build up as it hits the bottom water. So the sculpting tool can do everything that we've just shown. So what I guess I would leave you with is kind of get a better close-up in here. This is a display I did for the 25th anniversary gathering in Phoenix on how to do what I call Glacier Bay. And this water, the water right here that you see, is the water done with a sculpting tool by pulling the pieces out. This is the way to carve the front of just of just going down like that to eradicate it, almost the same way as if you would make a mountain. And then this is with the bow cutter, but you can take this, widen it out, and you can make that same vertical cut going away. So either way, whether it's this finish or that finish, it can all be done with a sculpting tool. Again, this finish is the same as that. This is the same as that. Now this you can't do with the sculpting tool because it's just way too big. That has to be done with a bow cutter. But you get the idea of all of this. You can do this with the sculpting tool, and there's no other tool that has the universal use or action that this presents. So that's my take on what I consider the #1 tool that David Nadel and the folks at Hot Wire Foam Factory make. And for my money, the sculpting tool, don't leave home without it. The next thing is